and welcome to Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Diane Davidson. This is Bill Weidecker.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about some things that are not so pleasant, but hopefully will help people not experience what others have. And about fraud, various types of fraud, right?
Well, back in the old days, in the early days of computers, there used to be this saying there are two kinds of people. There are those that back up and those that will. Meaning, if you're not backing up your data, one day you'll lose it all, and then you'll be backing up your data forevermore after that. And just recently, in December, I had my iPhone stolen. And of course, many people, many of us, and of a certain age, think they're being pretty good with their technology and keeping all their passwords safe in their contacts on their phone, and they're using lots of apps on their phone. And the days of losing your phone for a $50 pawn shop visit are long gone, Diane. Now they're keeping the phone, they're stealing your Apple ID, they're using the apps to go through and look to see if there's, if there are banking apps that they can get into. They actually were able to get into my Apple Pay, and it didn't cost me any money, but it cost Goldman Sachs a few $1,000s that they spent, and that literally gets paid for by who? Everybody.
All of us, yeah.
And so I really feel like you have to be more vigilant than ever with your phone theft that's going on out there. I'm a victim of it, and I still don't have my original Apple ID back. Thousands of photographs probably gone forever. The point is just be very vigilant about making sure you use a password manager, make sure your stuff's locked down. This has precipitated our conversation about fraud in a much bigger sense today, and that's what we want to talk about mainly.
With wire fraud through real estate.
That's right.
Yep. So it's kind of twice or three times removed, but we know of a case, a couple who was buying a home, and they followed the instructions from the title company, so they thought. And I have to say that all of us as agents and title companies and attorneys in the states that where attorneys handle closings, after every email is a warning about wire fraud. In this particular case, they've gotten so good that rather than using a similar email address that somebody wouldn't catch, they were able to use the exact email address, the exact signature, everything that they'd been seeing from this title company all through the transaction. And they wired $300,000 into an account that was, from the scammer's account. And I don't know, it happened pretty recently. I don't know what the outcome was. I don't believe that they got the money back. And so we've decided on our team as an extra security measure to call a few times closer to the closing and to remind people and make sure we speak to them, to remind them that if anybody asks for money, even though we talk about it in email, to make sure that they call that person. So in New Hampshire, the title company, in Massachusetts, the attorney, call and actually have a live conversation with the person whose voice they know, who is asking for the money, who's asking that the money be wired. And I don't know any other safeguard that we can employ, but I feel like we have to take those extra few steps because it's horrifying.
Well, in the old days, when wiring was not an option, it was all done by bank checks
yeah.
and certified checks, and all of that was an extra step that wiring has made seemingly a lot more convenient, but a lot more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like we never ask people, we never give wiring instructions to anybody.
Correct.
But it's the law firms and the title companies that often do. And it starts by these thieves gaining access to email accounts. And they just hang around in these email accounts waiting for what seems like a real estate transaction. And most title companies and law firms can get pretty locked down. But most consumers out there, maybe not so much.
Correct.
And so there are thieves out there monitoring hundreds, if not thousands, of email conversations in other parts of the world, waiting for something real estate related to pop up, and aha, we got ourselves a live one. $300,000
A lot of money.
is a lot of money. And in some cases, financial institutions are able to get some of the money back, all of the money back, none of the money back. None of that seems like a really great guarantee at all, especially when it's your account that it's gone from and it's somewhere other than where anyone knows. That to me just seems like, I don't know what I would feel. I don't know what I would feel. I know, as I said, there were a couple of days where I had to, before I got to the bank with my phone situation, where I was like, I just pray to God that they didn't take any money out of there. And to wire it somewhere and thinking it's going in the right direction. I don't even know if a phone, if I were today, would think, God, I might even want to go to the title company and have a live conversation. That's how scared I'd be.
Well, the other thing is, we could go back to the old way of doing things. People can still bring a cashier's check or a bank check to closing.
Oh, sure.
Right? And
You don't have to wire the money.
And for most banks, or many anyway, you have to go to the bank to initiate the wire anyway. So if you're initiating a wire and you're going to the bank to do it, why not go to the bank and just get a treasurer's check?
Yep.
Cashier's check, whichever one's appropriate. That's probably something we should start talking to our clients about.
Well, I think the idea is that you're looking to try to make your world more convenient. But if you're the victim of something like this, it's not going to feel that convenient. It's going to feel like the intrusion of the highest level.
Yep. Yep.
And so I would say that if you're going to be involved in a real estate transaction, don't come to trust how folksy an email might seem, because in some cases, some of these thieves have gotten so good that they start to mimic the conversational
Absolutely.
style
Absolutely.
of the person they've been in contact with. In other words, if they're not going to say, "Hey, Mr. Smith," if they've been calling you Bucky
Right.
the whole time, they're gonna get really good at it. If $300,000 is on the line, you can bet your bottom dollar they're gonna work real hard to look savvy. It's not gonna be a crown prince from a foreign country that needs to park $10 million in your bank account.
Did you get that email?
But not only that, I'm waiting for it to get here.
I think that's the scam of the past. I haven't had one recently.
But
I haven't won 18 million
The
recently.
reason that kept happening over and over and over and over again was because it worked.
The numbers. It's like anything else, right?
Yeah, but I do believe these fishing expeditions have gotten more and more savvy.
Mm-hmm.
These individuals are smarter than they've ever been of removing your money from you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like this is one of the more valuable conversations we're gonna have with all of you, because wiring money in a real estate transaction is become fraught with peril.
So just don't do it. Just don't do it until you have enough conversations to make sure it's okay. And I don't mean by email.
Come to doubt everybody and anything.
Yeah.
Talk to your bank as well, if you're gonna do it, to say, listen, how do I ensure that this gets to the right place? Not just here's the routing number.
I'm not sure you can.
Well,
I guess they'll find out when they
Yeah.
go to their bank,
or how do I protect myself?
right? In case.
Be aware.
Thank you. Okay, and thank you. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform or subscribe to our YouTube.